I think I'm mic'd. Matter of fact, let me check because that was embarrassing last time. Last time it was embarrassing not, you know, being on here with good sound. Okay? We can probably back up just a little bit. And maybe if I sit up, yeah, that's better. Okay. So, hello, hello, hello. My name is Tamira. I am excited to be here. I'm going to redo this unboxing because last time I was actually not mic'd up for the first portion for like a good 5 minutes, almost 6 minutes of the live. So let's check and let's make sure I am properly mic'd and you can hear me. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You can hear me. Yay. Awesome. All right. So we are here. I'm going to. You can hear me. Okay. Yay. We know we can hear you. You can hear me. Yay. Somehow 2 screens are open. So here we are. Here we are. Can I just tell you how much I love this look? I really love this look. So, okay. So we're going to redo this unboxing because I screwed it up last time. And real quick, let me get plugged in here. There we go. All right. So many things to do when you are upping your content game. Okay. So many things to do. All right. So you guys can help me achieve my first goal. I've just PIN'd it. So check that out. I am going to pretend like I am unboxing this for the first time with my purple ticket money. I bought this and I was live about it earlier before my Zoom. All I want to do is zoom, in a zoom. And the audio was out for a good chunk of it. Now, I don't even remember what all I was saying, and I don't have a record of it because it was not recording. Usually I am, often I am recording on multiple devices. But when you see me recording from this spot, it means I am not recording from multiple devices. So we are upping our content game in 2025, right? We are getting good lighting, and good lighting doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, the best lighting is going to be natural light through big windows, which I chose where I live because of the big windows, and I get lots of sun flooding in. Sometimes actually during the day I have to close the blinds because it's too much sun coming in high afternoon. And after that, speaking of, I got some gorgeous pictures from when we had the eclipse last April. So with my $71 in purple ticket money, I grabbed not just this, I grabbed several things, but I decided to grab things that were going to help me up my content game. And before we get into that, can we learn from this last weekend? Can we agree that we need to be not just posting and active on one platform? In fact, as a digital and business marketing strategist, I actually advise my clients to have their pair and a spare. Your pair cannot be owned by the same entity. Okay? And no, I'm not going deep into this. I'm just going to say it. It is what it is. Meta does not own TikTok, and TikTok is not plugged into the Meta servers. So with that being said, FB and IG are both owned by who? Meta. So that cannot be your pair. Now you can have one be your primary and one be your spare, but then in between those two, you need a secondary, and that secondary can be TikTok, the Clock app. It can be Pinterest. It can be Where the Sky is Blue. It can be where they tube you. It can be any of those. But please get a pair and a spare. Okay? Get a pair and a spare. Build your email list and or SMS text message list. Okay? If you are making a lot of moolah with TikTok Shop, just remember you don't have a customer list. They've got the customer list. You don't know who buys and you don't have their contact information. So keep that in mind. Now, you still should be, I'm supposed to be talking about the thing, but I'm going to just say this and get this out, okay? You still should be owning the masters of your content without logos on it so that you can post it other platforms and monetize it on those platforms. So your Clock app shop videos need to also go on the Jungle app. So you need to get approved for that. I have a crash course that you can download for that. Just hit me up. And then you also look at getting it up on the short end of the TubeView app. And you should also look at getting it on Pinterest and even LinkedIn. Why not? Why not? I think you can still upload video for free on X if you're still over there. I know a lot of people are just not doing that. The point is, you can create a video once and monetize it in multiple ways. I do it all the time. And this is why people join my Luminary Path, okay? Thank you so much for the love and being the #1 gifter. Johnny, am I saying it right? Johnny Mose? Okay? So, we are here to unbox this baby, okay? It is, and I did test it out in the bathroom. I tested it out on the wall and I tested it out on the mirror. It is the magnetic suction cup. It is, you can use it in your car on the windshield too. So we're going to show you, you can move this and that is how it suctions, which is awesome. Okay. Because I've used other car mount suction thingies on the mirror and it was not always so easy. Let me just tell you, to get that thing stuck to the mirror. And then sometimes when you got it stuck to the mirror, you got to be careful because you might break the mirror getting it off, right? And getting a good angle, getting it angled properly is not always easy. So this is how you suction it and unsuction it. And then this comes out and it is magnetic. And the iPhone does have MagSafe technology, so you don't need anything special to add to the iPhone. My iPhone is in the holster and I'm not moving it. I'm just not gonna move it, y'all, because if I move it, things are probably gonna fall over and it's just gonna be a mess. And so just trust me that when I say that the iPhone does stick to this, okay? It absolutely is magnetized and holds a firm. I'm not really concerned about it slipping or falling. So I not only intend to use this in the bathroom, el baño, but in the kitchen, la cocina, okay? And so in doing so, that way I can get overhead view of me making coffee, making tea, making my mineralized hydrating waters and all that good stuff, right? Get different angles of cooking. I've seen in the video promoting this that people attach it to their car and they get, you know, a lot of different interesting angles, right? Because we are upping our content game in 2025. I don't consider myself a content creator in the sense that most people are a content creator, though it is a piece of my business. It is not the primary or sole focus of my business. I create content to monetize my life because I get paid to exist, right? That is the goal. I get paid to exist. I get paid in my sleep, right? And you need multiple streams of income to make that happen, right? And so, yes, I do get paid. Oh, it has off and on. Your girl needs that. It says off and on. Okay, so I forgot what I was saying. So we're going to read the card and maybe it'll come back to me. So this card came in the box when I unboxed it. It says best wishes, loving companion at all times. I think the people who sent this may not have English as their first language, but that's okay. Because this is an awesome customer experience and you should learn from this. I'm going to read it to you, okay? It says, hey there, awesome. Thrilled you've chosen our product. When your package arrives, please give it a quick check to see if everything's in tip-top shape. Look out for any little hiccups, missing some bits and pieces, got a banged up box, size looks a bit off. If you run into these or any other snags, don't hesitate to ping our customer service center. We're all geared up to whip up a speedy and satisfactory fix for you, and it gives their WhatsApp number, okay? I think that is an excellent customer experience. I can't tell you, when I opened it and I saw it with the little flowers, an angel got its wings, okay? I thought it was very cute, a very personal touch. Did it say my name? No. But it was just like a nice little touch. It made me feel appreciated, right? And you should feel appreciated. Now, also inside the box are these two. If you don't have an iPhone, which why would you not have an iPhone? You know, you can make your phone MagSafe by putting these on there. And they give you two in case you upgrade, which I probably am going to be doing soon. And there are instructions, which of course I didn't read, and wipes so that you can wipe your phone before putting one of these on there. You don't need to put both on one phone. You only need one per phone, right? And so it goes on the back of your phone, and then that makes it so that it is magnetic and will click to the little base thingy. Okay, now this threw me off a little bit earlier. Okay, it's an alley wrench. It's an alley wrench. Okay, and so the alley wrench, where is it? Okay, I was like, where what do you need an alley wrench for? So I guess if this gets loose, the alley wrench will help you tighten it, or maybe even lock it in place. I don't know. I don't know. But these are very inexpensive, and I intend to order several more of these because I like to have extras and backups, right? So you might want one for the car. You might want one for the kitchen. You might want one for the bathroom. That sounds about like me, but I still just like to have extras on hand. I was on a Zoom earlier, and the little phone holster for my big expensive ring light, I made it fall. It didn't break, thank God, but it has happened before. And so then I was able to just quickly replace it out of my own inventory and not have to wait. Now, I'm lucky. I live somewhere where I can get same day, next day, one day. But just in case not, if I had it to do over again, I'm not even going to lie, no pressure. You do what was best for you and your wallet. I should have ordered 2 or 3 of these off top. Now I got to go back and order more. And, you know, I like getting a good deal. But like I said, for me, one in the kitchen, one for the living room, even though I've got multiple holsters and all that in here, one for the bathroom, one for the car. If you frequent a relative's house and you're there a lot, like I might have one in my parents' house, right? Or just in my purse, right? So I'm not saying go overboard. I'm saying you are an adult. We are in an age where we are adults. We are adulting, and we are doing what we need to do for our lives and our businesses, right? So just because that worked for me, just because I'm suggesting it, just because I'm recommending it, you know best what works for you, your business, and your life. So you can decide. You also know, you may know that you are not financially able. Your account right now does not show that you can buy 3, 4, 5, 6, or 10 of these. Then get the 1 or get the 2 or whatever your wallet says you can get. And there's nothing saying you can't go back and get more. That is perfectly acceptable and perfectly okay. All right, so my new little favorite thing. I like it better than the ring light I recently bought, because I recently bought a little ring light, and it's not bad. It just doesn't give the lighting that I like. I'm on it right now, but I also have my big window open with the natural light coming into, though I'm not sitting directly in front of it. So this is going to get a lot. If you're a food creator, if you are a creator that does a lot of overhead shots, like of you working on an iPad or a tablet. I have to remember that everybody uses iPad, right? Like my little great niece, I was at my sister's house and I kept talking to my niece about her iPad, and my sister suddenly gets real technical. She's like, it's not an iPad. I'm like, I don't know. It looked like an iPad to me. I just assume everybody is all Apple because that's what I do. Okay, that's what I do. That's what works for me. And I shouldn't be assuming that everybody, but it's kind of like Xerox and Kleenex. Everybody still calls it Kleenex when it might be Wally World brand or Target brand, but we still call it, so I don't mean any harm, but you should go Apple. I'm just saying, especially because they still down with the DEI. They're not letting anybody pressure them out of DEI. So there's that. Okay. So this little thingy, I'm going to keep it in the box. I'm going to keep the box so that when it is not in use, it is semi protected. Okay. So I'm really excited about that because we are upping our content game in 2025. Can I just tell y'all, I am loving the energy. I'm loving the energy of people showing up and everybody is giving it their all and understands what we need to do, right? We are resting, but we are resting from being everyone else's savior. And we are focusing on ourselves right now. We are focusing on our own glow up right now. We are focusing on bettering ourselves, our personal development, our self-development. I am loving it. We are focusing on, you know what? If the algorithm reset, if the servers reset, I'm going to make the most of it right now and leverage it to grow my account, get monetized, or do whatever. I don't care that we might only have 72 days and counting. I'm going to get on here and I'm going to collect as many leads as I can get right now. I'm going to get on here and I'm going to sell as much as I can from the shop, right? Because it's not just about getting the free samples, which, by the way, every day I'm getting collaboration requests. Every day. Okay? Every day. And for us to make the most of this time, it is my firm belief that we really need to pour into ourselves. We need to embark, if we have not already, on a healing journey. Okay, so if you are not following me, please make sure you click up here and you click through, and you not only follow me, click that notification so that you know when I go live. There are seasons when I go live more than normal, which for the foreseeable future, I am in that season. Okay, for editing purposes, I'm going to say that again. For the foreseeable future, I am in that season. Okay? And that's okay. That's okay. Right? Because I'm going to be pouring into you. I'm going to help you develop your discernment muscle, because I'm seeing that a lot of us just don't have that, or it's really been weakened. Right? It's really been weakened. There's been a lot on our nervous systems since probably ever, but definitely since 2016. There are specific dates in mind that have really caused a lot of stress to our nervous systems. And I can tell you from experience and having my own intuition, my own discernment, and having, educated myself and studied a lot, I know that a lot of this is intentional to break your spirit, right? Y'all talk about buck breaking. Y'all talk about something that rhymes with cinch letter, the Willie Cinch letter, right? All of that's to break your spirit. That was the whole purpose of it, to break your spirit. Why would they want to break your spirit? To control you. To be not just manipulate you, to literally be able to control you. I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I just watched the entire 6 seasons, from late November and finished, a few weeks ago. And Theon, the way Ramsay did Theon to break his spirit so that he could have absolute control over him. Y'all know where this is headed, right? You know where this is headed. So it's so important over the next 24 months that we elevate ourselves spiritually, emotionally, financially, and mentally. It's no longer optional, right? If you think you can rest on the fact that we are the most educated demographic in this country and think that there is not a war being unleashed on us right now, you are sadly mistaken. Several of the recent executive orders specifically are targeting people of color, but more specifically, women of color, by way of targeting DEI. And think about it. The way that they are phrasing it is, they're using words like excellence and meritocracy and merit completely incorrectly. I gotta take a sip. Right? If you read between the lines, basically, your education does not mean you are excellent. And the color of your skin definitely means you are not excellent. To be excellent, you have to have a certain color of skin. You don't need education. You don't need experience. You just need to be preferably a male and of a certain persuasion. And if you are not male, you better have a whole lot of money. You better be a billionaire. I'm not a fearmongerer. I'm not going to get on here and fearmonger you like some of y'all others coaches and gurus. I'm just going from the heart and from the truth. From the heart and from the truth. Go and look at, for example, the new person appointed to the office of the EEOC, Equal Opportunity. Equal opportunity, basically calling reverse racism. It's wild. Carolyn says the harsh reality of our society today is super scary. Indeed it is, my sister. Indeed it is. But we don't live in fear, because from the Miracle Journal, we know that fear is lower frequency. Is that in, that's in here? It's in here somewhere. We know that fear is lower vibrational. It is lower frequency. And we don't want to be lower frequency. Where is it? Where did it go? There it is. Right? Fear is at the very bottom. We don't want to operate out of a fear. We can acknowledge that, yes, these are scary times. But as I've said before, we can also acknowledge that our ancestors somehow made it through. And somehow our lineage, somehow our bloodline is still here today. We are living our worst fear. Because I don't know about you, but I have grandchildren. And it's absolutely wild to me. It's absolutely wild to me that the way they are trying to redo everything would put my grandchildren, could possibly put my grandchildren back in position where our people were 160, 80 years ago. Carolyn says, grow and prosper, but we have to arm ourselves with knowledge to do so. Absolutely. And that is why I'm here. That is why I'm showing up more. Okay? Because I see the deficiency. I see the psychosis. It's scary the way some of us are arguing for things that are just not true and not based in reality at all. Right? We can acknowledge the reality that is in front of us without making it our reality. Okay? We can acknowledge that no, these are not ideal times. This is not what we want to see. And then go to work to create what we want to see and what we want to exist. We can resist reality. We can resist reality with discernment, with emotional regulation, with nervous system regulation, because you're not going to be able to resist it without those things. I'm sorry, you're not going to be able to. If you fully understood the way things are being put in position right now and understand contextually where we are historically, the last time they didn't have a smart computer in everybody's hand. The last time they didn't have all of this data on everyone. You have to understand that. Why do y'all think all them tech bros were there and have been summoned? And not all of them, like I said, Tim Cook is like, yeah, I'll show up. But yeah, we still down with DEI. Right? But Fuckerberg, homeboy folded because he doesn't have a spine. He doesn't have a spine. Okay? So you have to know your place in history and do that scan, know what is going on around you and figure things out. Well, one thing I could say for sure is they're trying to cut out the middleman. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like if you don't understand how he, with his whole chest said they're taking the black jobs and what that meant. I mean, I get it. Y'all talking about, I've seen this and heard the trending sound about, oh, they can get rid of DEI all they want to. We're still the most educated. That doesn't matter to them. How do y'all not know that? It does not matter to them. They are completely fine with you being an educated enslaved person, an educated housekeeper, an educated nanny. In fact, they want you to be an educated nanny so you can educate their child for them. You can be an educated cook as long as you're cooking for them. Is it going to happen in the next 2 to 4 years? No. But they, unlike them other people, have a plan and they have their eyes on the prize and they consistently are playing chess and moving things into place. Okay? And I can say that and I can look you in the eye and I can say, and I'm still going to resist. And you still should resist. Because as, what's his name? George Conway said, this is still America. There's still a constitution. There's still 3 branches of government. There's still processes. So we can't react to everything that is said. Even executive orders, because did you know they're not law? They're wishes. And you have to have a means to enact them. They are wishes. And they don't have the voting power in Congress and the Senate that they need to just ram things through. There's already resistance. Like 22 states have already filed lawsuits. So no, we are not lying down and just taking it. We are going to resist, right? We are going to build our own community. But what we're not doing, what we're resting from, is saving everybody else. Being at the forefront and doing all the work for them. And then when we need them, they don't show up for us. That's over. And not just in this context. In your family, at work, in your friend circle. We are no longer doing that. That is finito. It is fin. Terminaste. It's done. Done and over with. Right? Well, y'all got me fired up. Discernment. You have to have and use your discernment. In fact, I have a thread that I wrote on discernment not too long ago. Let me pull it up and let's go through that. 10 steps to develop and fine-tune discernment. Number 1, self-reflection. That is why, here, let me add it because I know y'all love this. Let me add these products real quick. Oh. Yeah. Okay. So I added my journals that I use. These are not my journals, meaning I created them. I'm definitely an affiliate. So self-reflection, things like the shadow work journal, the miracle journal, the 369 journal. There's a method to my madness, y'all. There is a method, right? Self-reflection. Spend time in introspection to understand your values, belief, and biases. Journaling can help you track your thoughts and feelings, providing insights into your decision-making process. Self-reflection. You got to be aware of, you have to, calm down, slow down. You have to first know who you are. They're banking on you not knowing who you are. You have to know who you are. Thank you for the share, Carolyn. You have to know who you are, right? Even when it comes to marketing and business with my coaching clients, who are you, right? I love that of the original Lion King. The original Lion King reigns supreme. I don't care what nobody said. When Rafiki bops him on the head and says, Simba, remember who you are. Remember who you are and remember whose you are. That's that reflection. When you can sit back and you can say, Tamira, you ain't got to like this. But you have grandparents who fought in the civil rights movement. You have ancestors who made sure that their DNA made it to you, not only you, 2 beautiful children and 2 beautiful grandchildren. There's a reason that you're here. It's their tenacity. It's their grit. It's their resistance. It's in you. It ain't on you. So you have to know who you are and whose you are. Not only in terms of upstairs, the man upstairs, but your bloodline. What you come from and what they've been through, what we as a people have been through. Y'all have seen the video talking about, you mean to tell me they did this, and this, and we're still here? Absolutely. And this ain't gonna be the one that take us out. Okay, so you have to know who you are and whose you are. You have to be aware of self. That includes, we talked about this at length yesterday, the shadow work journal. You have to be aware of your triggers and why they trigger you. Because that's how people manipulate you, your triggers. And you neutralize those triggers by becoming aware and getting to the root of them. And that is the shadow work journal. You can buy the first edition for like $7, $8, and they give you the second edition for free. Orange card below. If you are the oldest child, the oldest daughter, the firstborn granddaughter, the firstborn niece, if you are Gen X, if you are millennial, we all have suffered some sort of trauma in our life. And this isn't just about trauma, but your dark side, as they call it, which I really don't even like that, but you know what I mean, right? Get to the root of it. Get to what makes you angry. Get to what makes you crash out. And figure out why it makes you crash out and deal with that so you can stop crashing out. Because crashing out, going forward, crashing out can mean jail time, prison time, becoming free or very close to free labor. Y'all know that, right? So you have to get your emotions regulated. You have to get your spiritual house in order, okay? Number 2, seek diverse perspectives. Thank you for the love. Seek diverse perspectives. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I've been a blocker like Pac-Man, blocking left and right. But there are some that I won't say they're harmless, but I can't get in a echo chamber where I only hear what I want to hear, and neither can you. That's very dangerous. I think that's how they pulled the rug out from under us in November. We kind of got into an echo chamber, right? So you have to seek diverse perspectives. Expose yourself to different viewpoints and experiences. And just because we're not them doesn't mean we're a monolith and that we all think the same and have the same experiences. So we have to be open to exploring different viewpoints and experiences. In fact, that is our strength and their weakness, because they think we are all the same and that we all have the same experience and that we all have the same viewpoints. And we don't. Okay? Engage in conversations with people from various backgrounds to broaden your understanding. Okay? Tip 3 to develop and fine-tune discernment. Practice mindfulness. I meditate and pray daily. At least once a day. At least. On a lot of days, twice. Thank you, Carolyn. Develop a regular mindfulness practice to stay present and aware. Meditation, going on walks, practicing gratitude, hugging a tree, grounding. Now, I ain't out there walking on ice and frozen ground, especially barefoot. So I do take my Terra minerals, right? What are some of the things you like to do? So yeah, I love meditating. I love getting time out in nature. I love getting sunshine. Like I said, it felt like negative 30 here yesterday. So going outside was just not really something I was gonna do. I did go out to get some Chipotle though. So that's why I literally chose this place because of the way the windows are, and I've got these 2 huge windows that let a lot of sunshine in. That natural vitamin D for me, and I think for all of us, is really important. Number 1, we're deficient in it. And not a lot of healthcare professionals are telling you that we're naturally deficient in vitamin D. Because we're meant to be in the sun all the time. Because we can't. Okay? So those are some of my favorite things. I love to listen to worship music and prayers in the morning. Right? I love to get in tune with my inner star player. I love to sit in the presence of God and be around God and to hear God and to talk to God for a good chunk of my morning. It's how I bulletproof myself. Okay? I love to read. And I love to journal, clearly. But we all know my number 1 favorite thing to do, and that's to spend time with my grandbabies and my family. When we become more self-aware, big pharma is not going to have that, you know what I'm saying. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying. And I have been stocking up on supplements. That's why I've been going live so much with supplements pinned, because I'm getting ready. Okay. So educate yourself continuously. Oh wait, we're still on practice mindfulness. This helps in observing your thoughts and reaction without immediate judgment. Like, we got to get to radical self-acceptance as quickly as possible. And that comes from what? Getting our spiritual house in order, our emotional house in order. Okay. All right. So number 4, educate yourself. Continuously learn and stay informed about topics of interest and current events, and knowledge is going to equip you with the tools to make well-informed decisions. Did you pick all that up? You need to be able to make well-informed decisions, and you cannot do that when your nervous system is in shambles. And that's why they keep releasing all this news and everything that they can in order for you to have your nervous system in shambles. Right? It's like when they split 2 people up to interrogate them and they put a lot of pressure on one to get them to fold. Yes, ma'am, I'm definitely picking up what you're putting down. You have to educate yourself. Okay? Financial literacy, top of the list. You've got to get financially literate. You've got to practice financial literacy. Without financial literacy, I would have been like everybody else swearing that Mark bought TikTok, and he didn't. Because of my level of financial literacy, I knew that that was not possible. That y'all was just in, psychosis. A lot of people are in spiritual psychosis because they listen to that lady with those rods, and they listen to these tarot card readers who, if you actually listen to them and pay attention to them, one says something and the others literally say the same thing. They might ad-lib it a little bit, but they all say the same thing, which makes you think that it's true when it's just the same lie told over and over again. And that's what happened. And don't get me wrong, they had me believing that she was going to win, but that wasn't the only reason I thought she was going to win. That's the difference. And then when she didn't win, I had enough discernment to not believe when they stuck with the lie, when they doubled down, tripled down, quadrupled down on the lie. Because have y'all seen old girl with the wands, with the rods? Maybe the new algorithm is just not putting her in my purview. Because I've seen nary a one. And I'm not saying they're all bad, right? Like Natty is my girl. I love Natty, right? There's another one, Chan. Critical thinking. I kind of feel like this needs to be number one. Critical thinking. Because even if you're not the most financially literate, and I got to get back to that in a second, you should have, see, the thing with your emotional system not being regulated is you can't listen to your inner, not your inner critic, but your intuition. Your gut is your second brain. And you can't, like when they say gut feeling, that's because you get that visceral reaction. Look up visceral if you don't know what it means. Because we are educating ourselves. We are the most educated, but that don't mean we know everything. Okay? So if you don't know what visceral reaction is, you're still in the right room. Write it down and go look it up. VISCERAL. Pertaining to the viscera, the middle section of your body. I heard the guy Anwar say that when a guy gives you butterflies, that's actually not a good thing. That's your body setting off red flags that you need to run the other direction. And I was like, you just summed up everything that went wrong in my love life in the beginning of where it went wrong. Right? And I kind of come to that conclusion on my own. And I've said since then that I am not interested in the guy who gives me butterflies or that I feel intensely passionate for. Because that just doesn't work for me in my experience. Okay? So, critical thinking. And part of that is your emotional system being regulated, your nervous system being regulated. Because when it's dysregulated, you're frazzled. You're not in tune with your star player, which is your second gut. It's out of tune. It's out of alignment. And you don't know what to listen to. You don't know what to trust. And that's why they want misinformation on these apps, so that you don't know what to listen to. You don't know what to trust. And then on top of that, through these apps, they're constantly throwing boom, 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 cataclysmic events. And so your emotional regulation and your nervous system regulation are in pure shambles, and you don't know what to listen to or trust. And my golden rod tells me when I don't know what to listen to or trust, I need to get in tune with my star player. Because at the end of the day, the number one person I need to be able to listen to and trust is myself. Y'all got me preaching today. The number one person I need to be able to listen to and trust is myself. I'm going to tell you a quick story. In 2018, I was at a crossroads. I was partnered with a company that just was no longer feeling like home and where I needed to be. And I was a trainer for them. on a contract basis. I went out through the entire country and trained and made thousands of dollars per training, on top of everything that I was doing in the sales that I was making. I was training on sales and marketing, and I went to an area of the country that I will not name, and they made me feel good, you know, because it's all about people. And when you're in that kind of business, the people are why you join, and the people are why you will stay. But unfortunately, that sometimes means you will stay longer than you need to, because the people are why you stay. The relationships, no different than any other relationship. And I remember sitting in the hotel room, starting to question if I was making the right decision about leaving, after I just, been there and had this great training and had these great conversations, and I was feeling great. And my grandmother, who I didn't call, who was not in the room with me, but my grandmother, and who was still living, spoke to me plain as day. And I'm going to tell you what she said. I remember being a little girl, and Easter is one of my favorite holidays. And part of it was, I've always been infatuated with Roman Empire and that whole era. And, from a biblical standpoint, of course, that is there, right? And my grandparents always watched the 10 Commandments and all of those movies related to Easter. Easter was always a very big thing growing up and in my family. And I remember my grandmother, I can see it to this day, sitting in their living room discussing how, and I know I'm about to mess it up, but it was crystal clear that day about the rooster crowing 3 times. And I heard my grandmother say, the rooster will crow 3 times. You will deny me 3 times before the rooster crows. And in that instant, I knew I was making the right decision and to not back down. That's discernment. That comes from being self-aware, having self-knowledge, which comes from self-reflection, from seeking diverse perspectives, from practicing mindfulness, from your Bible study, from studying the Word. But not just the Word. I'm not saying the Word isn't everything, but you still need to study history. You still need to know the true history, not the stuff. Because I'm going to tell you, on Monday, I had a hard time finding a letter from the Birmingham jail for Martin Luther King. They're wiping history out from under us. We knew they would, or attempt to. Okay? It's like I was saying about the shadow work journal. When you start feeling those triggers and you are aware of them, you can come here and you can find the issue and you can get to journaling and get to the root of it and nip it in the bud. Okay? So where were we? Critical thinking. Analyze information critically. Question everything. It doesn't mean you got to be a bee about it. It doesn't mean anything other than you're examining it. And you should. Including some of the doctrine you get at church. And start looking for the Bible verses and start looking it up in the concordance and start looking at other sources and looking at the various translations. That's why they don't want us to be educated. We're on number 5. And are you seeing why they don't want us to be educated? Tammy says, I got mine and I'm loving it. Amen. Right? You've got to be able to think critically. And even of yourself, like I did in that moment in that hotel room. And my grandma speaking to me without having to be there. I mean, because truth be told, I was kind of on the outs with my family in that moment. And I swear, I said this at my grandmother's funeral. She died 5 years ago yesterday. I knew and could feel my grandmother praying for me, even when I was in isolation from my family. Even before that moment just really was like, yeah, your grandmother praying for you. And your grandmother has poured into you. Your grandmother has given you what you need to be able to make this decision, right? You will just know. Like on Titanic, when Rose comes back for Jack and he says, "How do you know?" She said, "I just knew." Amen. Yes. My whole family has passed and I understand. I feel them around me all the time. Yes. I didn't need to make a post remembering my grandmother yesterday because I remember my grandmother every day, all day, in everything that I do. So I don't have to make a post. Everybody grieves differently, so I'm not judging anybody who did, but I can only speak for me. I don't have to make a post because I live in the way that she taught me to live. Now, there are some things that I learned to not do, and that is A-okay too. That is part of the process. But she taught me a lot more of what to do. So I said at her funeral, when you see me, you see her. And it's the truth. I look more and more like her every day. It's crazy to me, right? So you have to be able to think critically. Now, my family did raise me to think critically. They just didn't want me thinking critical of them, because not critical. We've got to get out of thinking critically being negative. It is not a negative thing. It should not be a negative connotation. It means that you want your children, your grandchildren, to be able to think critically, because their survival is going to depend on it. If your bloodline made it this far, it's largely in part to the ability to think critically. So don't you dare go to sleep now. Don't you dare fold now. If your bloodline has made it this far, it is largely in part to the ability to think critically. It is largely in part due to emotional and nervous system regulation. So what is the theme for your talk today? I just wanted to refresh the room. Oh, thank you. You're such a beautiful person. Thank you. Well, I came on talking about my little handy dandy little new tripod thingy that I got. And we just got, I just get on here and I just get to riffing. I just get to riffing and just get to talking. And right now I'm going through 10 steps to develop and fine tune discernment. It's a thread that I wrote several weeks ago. And I'm going to repost it again today anyway, so I'm just reading through it right now. You're such a sweetheart, Carolyn. Thank you so much. You are welcome, says Tammy. Okay? So critical thinking. Look for evidence, consistency, and logical reasoning in the information presented to you. That's how I know a lot of people are in spiritual psychosis, because that's what they're failing to do. Y'all got to just stop taking because so-and-so said it or so-and-so said it on the internet that it's true. A lot of times they're either projecting their fears, their insecurities. They're saying what they need to keep you under their control and buying from them to keep clicking and watching. You have to be able to think critically. And that's why echo chambers are very, very dangerous. Okay? I'm going to stress this again. Analyze information critically, questioning the sources and motives behind it. Okay? You've got to be able to do that. All right, we're going to move on to number 6. Trust your intuition. You cannot trust your intuition if your nutrition is bad, if you're not hydrated, if you are not getting in tune with your star player, if you are not practicing mindfulness. Do you see how this all works together? You won't be able to trust your intuition. And that's what they want. Pay attention to your gut feelings and instinct. That is part of your fight or flight. If you are always in fight or flight, you no longer know and trust your fight or flight. And I know because I worked in a toxic work environment that was destroying my nervous system regulation, and they were doing it intentionally. To the point that there would be situations where you're literally like, your eyes are moving from side to side because you're trying to pull down from the brain, either from memory or to figure out what to do in that moment, and you just are bewildered. You just can't figure it out. And you know what I'm talking about because you felt it before. It's like I said, you're in that interrogation room and dude is pushing the light from menace to society. And they're putting this pressure on you and not giving you time to think, not giving you time to answer and respond. Okay? So you got to trust your intuition. Pay attention to your feelings and instinct. Balance intuition with rational analysis and to make sound judgment. That is why I promise you, your nutrition, a few weeks ago, it would have been challenging for me to come in here and do this. And that's why I wasn't going live as much, because my nutrition was not where it needed to be. Because when your nutrition is off, that gut-brain axis is not doing what it needs to do for your survival. I thought it was kind of strange how they had the inauguration on Martin Luther King. Well, they both are set, right? And Martin Luther King, when they signed that law into place, it's third Monday. His birthday is actually the 15th. Every so many years, it actually falls on the 15th. But it falls on the third Monday. Constitutionally, the president takes the oath at noon on the 20th day of January every 4 years. So that is just what it is. That's one of those things where it just is what it is. And when I have questions like that, Carolyn, I actually go to ChatGPT. And then I make it give me the sources, and then I check those sources. So in that case, you could ask ChatGPT, how is it that they were able to have the inauguration be on Martin Luther King Day? Because it's actually Martin Luther King Day. It's not his actual birthday. And so I do that all the time. And I question, and I hold ChatGPT accountable too. Okay? So you've got to trust your intuition. Number 7 is set boundaries. Clearly defined your personal and professional boundaries. If you're the oldest child, the oldest daughter, the oldest grandchild, the oldest niece, this one is probably something that you might not even be aware of is an issue. I mean, you know it's an issue, but you just have never been able to put it into words and know that's what the issue is. And you probably don't even, your family drives you crazy, right? But then you don't realize, like, you have no boundaries, and that's why you are in a position to be, you've literally painted yourself in a corner where they can overwork you and underpay you because you don't have boundaries. Because as the oldest daughter, the oldest grandchild, and the oldest niece, you were never given the space to have boundaries. You were parentified, probably beginning at the age as young as 4 or 5. And that's why that boss can use and abuse you, overwork you, and underpay you. Because you don't know how to not only have boundaries, but communicate those boundaries in a way that is firm, yet not taken the wrong way. Because y'all know how they like to play us. We're always walking that fine line as darker skinned women of they love to act like we're so mean and bitchy, right? And so you don't know how to do it because, number one, you haven't seen anybody else do it in that way. You've only seen them be fierce and be stereotypical about it in most cases. You are so right on that. Thank you for correcting me. Oh, it's not correction. It's not correction. We are all here together. We're in this together. It's not correction at all. Please don't take it that way. All right. And 8, evaluate your past decisions. The shadow work journal. Get to the root of it. Anger relievers. I can feel, that's okay. That's a journal prompt. I can feel my anger when, right? The color of anger. What color is your anger? Mine is red. And actually I have multiple colors. Red is the lower. The worst is black. Right? The worst is black. My oldest daughter, she's an Aquarius too. She's the same way. When you crash out, blackout, I don't anymore. I haven't, and God knows when, because I got it under control, right? So here's an example of evaluate past decisions. There's one in here on anger. Like, think about a time you were angry. What made you angry? What did you do with that anger? That's the decision, right? So these are prompts in here. These are prompts. And then part 4 is getting to the root of it. Okay, let me get to it because I think we read it yesterday. Get to the root of your shadow. Get to the root of your shadow. Come to this section whenever you are feeling your shadow in real time. Behaviors of your unconscious shadow include feeling angry, irritated, and anxious without a clear reason. Blaming external factors for your problem, consistently playing the victim. Ongoing negative thoughts and laziness. Lack of motivation and doubtfulness of one's capability. Jealousy, negative thoughts towards others. Feelings of guilt and shame. Okay? And there's like a audit for you to get to the root of your shadow. That's this. Okay? What is triggering my shadow? What thoughts am I having? Right? I'm not going to give it all because you need to get the journal. You need to get the journal and you need to go through it. But it does give you several of these to fill out. And then from there, you'll be able to just do it in your journal. Or you can get another shadow work journal. Entirely up to you. I don't think I'll ever be without one of these. Okay? So evaluate your past decisions. Right? For me, why did I allow a job to overwork me, to underpay me, to use and abuse me? Because clearly in the moment, I didn't see that that was happening. What did I expect to get? What did I want so bad that I allowed that? Why do I keep dating the same man over and over again? They even kind of look the same. Why do I keep dating the same man over and over again? Was something I had to once ask myself. I wonder if my shadow has the same waistline when I was 25. You are funny, right? So you have to evaluate and you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And the beautiful thing about this, gatekeep. You ain't got to get on the internet and tell everybody all your business. I tell y'all what I'm willing to share. I don't tell y'all everything. In fact, I don't share what I write in here. I might share a little bit every now and then, but I don't share. Because it's my journey. It's my process. It's my healing. And I own it. But I'm not going to sit on here and know they listening to everything and already collecting all this data and then give them what to use against me. Because that's what people do. Not everybody, but yeah. You got to be careful. You have to protect yourself. That has to be a boundary. See how that works? See how I'm learning? Okay. A lot of us don't have boundaries because we were not allowed to have boundaries at home. You couldn't close your bedroom door. You couldn't, say how you felt. We were to be seen and not heard. And that's across, a lot of this is not just a Black woman issue. But when we are Black women, it is compounded. I'm going to say it again. It applies to just about everybody. And it's not even just a class thing or a race thing. But when it comes to Black women, it is compounded. It is compounded. It is exponentially more intense for us. Okay? So reflect on past choices and their outcomes. Identify patterns. Everybody talking about pattern recognition. Y'all thought pattern recognition meant that man wasn't going to get sworn in on Monday, and he did. So you need to go back to the drawing board, sweetie. You do. Okay? Identify patterns and learn from both successful and unsuccessful decisions. Again, no echo chambers. Okay? Number 9, seek mentorship. Find mentors or advisors who demonstrate strong discernment. And I'm going to speak on this real quick because I always go to my guy, Kevin Trudeau, who, yes, has a quote-unquote criminal past. But y'all know how that goes. I mean, we got a felon in the White House. So, when it comes to your mentors and seeking advice, Kevin talks about your teachability index. Now, you got to be careful because I believe when Kevin was crafting this up, it was Kevin's way of indoctrinating his audience, okay? So your teachability index is willingness to learn and willingness to accept change. So what I'm doing, yes, let's hashtag pause. Because we just said Kevin, when he came up with this, was likely trying to indoctrinate his audience. That doesn't mean there's not value in it. That doesn't mean I can't learn from it. That doesn't mean I can't apply it and use it to transform my life and the life of others. But in doing so, we do have to acknowledge that fact. Okay? And you can take that and do what you will with it. Do you have an article where we could read that? I don't. He used to his videos where this is from a video of him leading a training. It's actually the audio, but they put it in video format on YouTube, and they've since been taken down from YouTube. And so I stay on task. But sometime remind me to come back and talk to you about how your notes are your receipts receivable, your income receivables. Okay, so these are notes that I took from listening to that audio. Okay, so your teachability index is your willingness to learn times your willingness to accept change, which is true. However, while you do need a teachability index, because there are so many charlatans out here, so many wolves in sheep's clothing, you need to be in tune with your star player. Your nervous system needs to be regulated. Your emotions need to be regulated so that you can still run it through a lens and critique it. If you can't critique it, something ain't right. Okay? So who should you listen to? Those who have what you want, those who've been where you are, but ultimately you need to listen to yourself. That's the most important thing, for you to be able to listen to yourself. And to be able to do that, you need to what? Have your emotional system regulated, to have your nervous system regulated, to have the proper nutrition so your gut and brain are working in conjunction with each other. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Okay, and here he said, these are my notes. It is okay to seek counsel and opinions, but never let someone tell you what to do. Get advice, but do not take orders. Get advice, but do not take orders. Who would you say motivates me today? Myself. I'm gonna be honest with you, because there's a lot of charlatans out there. Myself, my desire to leave this world a better place for my grandbabies and not a backwards place, a place that's gone backwards, not the upside down. That's what motivates me. 95% of what we think are facts, are nothing more than opinions. Okay? So this is from Carolyn. This is from Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command. So you could go to ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT to give you the executive summary of Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command. You can also reach out to me and I can send you the link, because the CDs are on Amazon. The Jungle app, which is why those videos came down off of YouTube, because they're his intellectual property. Kevin Trudeau, like the old guy, the former guy who ran Canada, Justin Trudeau, it's same spelling, Trudeau. It's French with the X cut off on the end. So Trudeau, the origin of it is French. Yes, Kevin Trudeau. Okay, I got you. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Okay, so you can go to... and I've got notes, so I can come back and go through all of that some other time. But I just had to go there when we talk about seeking mentorship, because y'all got to be careful. Because the problem is we live in a time where there are charlatans and there's a lot of idolatry. There is immense idolatry. People are worshiping and putting people on pedestals and have fake gods. Are you picking up what I'm throwing down? There's a lot of idolatry and worshiping of false prophets and false gods. Okay? So find mentors or advisors who demonstrate strong discernment. Learn from their experience and insights to enhance your own. But remember, it is okay to get advice, but do not take orders. Okay? Practice patience. Avoid rushing decisions, but don't take too long either. Right? You study long, you study wrong. Especially important ones. Take the time needed to gather information, reflect, and make thoughtful choices. Woman, I love your talks always, but I got to get back to work. I will catch up with you later. All right, darling. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for engaging. Thank you for all of it. Okay? Practice patience. And I conclude with discernment is a continuous process that involves self-awareness, learning, and mindful decision making. By following these steps, you can enhance your ability to discern effectively in various aspects of life. So let's talk about what to do from here when it comes to discernment, right? So I've got these 10 steps. I actually probably should publish them on my website, which is my first name, last name.com, right? But check this out, right? You're not going to be able to just automatically go through all of these, right? You need to pick one. Pick your strength and celebrate that, right? Pick whichever step of these because you're strong, right? Identify your top 2 to 3 strengths of these and celebrate them. And then you have a decision to make. You can either get better at what you're good at, or you can focus on where you're weakest at and then make those your priority and work on those. But focus on one, no more than 3 at the same time. And I really say just focus on one. Where's the little door that swings, the little hinge that swings a big door? That's what I like to do personally. But you do what works for you, boo. Okay? So I'm going to read the list off again. 10 steps to develop and fine-tune discernment. 1, self-reflection. 2, seek diverse perspectives. 3, practice mindfulness. 4, educate yourself. 5, critical thinking. 6, did I just say 5? This is 5. 6, trust your intuition. 7, set boundaries. 8, evaluate past decisions. 9, seek mentorship. And 10, practice patience. Above all else, learn to trust yourself. That is self-concept. Self-trust is rooted in self-concept, which is in the Miracle Journal, which is added to the orange card below. Okay, self-concept, the Miracle Journal. Let's talk about self-concept. Self-concept refers to the perceptions, beliefs, and ideas we have about ourselves. It is who we believe we are, what we believe we are capable of, and the identity that we embody. In many ways, everyone in our reality reflects our beliefs about ourselves back onto us. One of the most effective ways to alter the way people perceive us is by changing our own perceptions of ourselves. By embodying the concept of the version of ourselves that has the desire, we call it in effortlessly. You've got to work on your self-concept. You've got to work on you. That is why we are resting. We are taking a break, or we might just be done altogether with getting involved with helping other people and saving other people. And right now we're putting that oxygen mask on and we're self-preserving ourselves and our bloodlines. Not only their longevity, but their prosperity, their ability to thrive. If your bloodline has made it this far, it is largely because your bloodline has some strength with critical thinking, discernment, being in tune with your star player. And if your bloodline is to continue, it is vitally important that you continue to develop that discernment and fine-tune it. Fine-tune it. Just like you get a tune-up on your vehicle. You need to get a tune-up on your discernment. You need a tune-up to your emotional regulation. You need a tune-up to your nervous system regulation. And for me in my house, my spiritual house, it is something that I do first thing every morning. It is not optional. Not in these times. Not with every 5 minutes. There is some devastating, critical, urgent news. And that includes, I do take things like ashwagandha, L-theanine, and GABA in order to stay regulated, right? In order to stay regulated. So if you're new here, my name is Tamira Hamilton. I've got over 32 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience. I come here and I talk mindset, monetization, mentoring, and marketing. That is what I do. That is what I love to do. It is what I bring to the world. Lately, we've been really heavy on mindset because it's what the world needs right now. It's what we need right now. I don't only work with women, but I primarily work with women. I'm very discerning in the men that I work with. I'm going to be comical here for a second because some of y'all don't know me. But have you seen my face? I have to be discerning because my face will attract. Notice I didn't say my body. My face will attract some of the wrong people, the wrong attention. My face will attract people that think that that's all I have on the table. I have a symmetrical face, right? So I'm very discerning in the men that I work with. Thank you. I'm funny, but I ain't that funny now. It ain't that funny. There's truth behind it. Okay. Thank you for the love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. So I do work with men, but I'm discerning in the men that I work with out of my own safety, out of my own self-preservation. It's not to say that all men are dangerous, but it is to say that discernment, I practice what I preach. Right? I've seen people constantly post about, the things that men say to them in their inbox. I don't get that because I don't attract it. I don't attract it. If you're getting a bunch of garbage in your inbox and it's not bots, because if it's bots, that's really easy. You can figure out what hashtags and keywords you're using to attract the bots. But it's the same thing when it's not a bot. There's something you're doing or saying to attract that attention. And that's what you need to correct. I generally don't attract it. And again, that's not to say that I don't have a pleasant looking face. I ain't saying I'm Beyonce or the best looking out there, but I know I'm far from the worst, right? I know I don't have the best body. I need to get back to working on it, but I'm okay with that because that's not all I bring to the table. I am the table. We're not going to have that discussion today though. But how I attract the right clients is the content, right? The things that I speak about, the way that I speak. And how I detract the wrong attention is the content, the way that I speak, the way that I carry myself, the words that I use, the confidence that I exude. They know I'm a tough cookie to crack. Now, some might think they're up for the challenge, but they know I'm not a doormat in the way that I carry myself. I'm not a doormat. That's not to say that I chose the right men. That's not to say that I've done everything right. Right? I'm human. To err is human. However, predators look for specific traits. They look for specific things. And they find the opposite in me. Right? Like there are men who specifically hunt for single mothers because they think that's someone. Who was that dude, Corey somebody, who went on Cam Newton's podcast and said that crazy stuff? That was never me as a single mom. I was very protective of my children. Extremely protective of my children. My children knew I dated, and I can think of only one or two that I actually brought in front of them their entire childhood. In fact, they are very selfish about their mama to this day because of that. And and now don't think that it ends because my children are adults. I have small, beautiful grandchildren. I am just as protective of them because they spend a lot of time with their nana. Their nana is an important part of their upbringing and a part of their community and their tribe that is supporting them. And so the protection does not end because my children are adults. I've got grandbabies. Okay. So I done went all off on left field again and forgot what I was talking about. That happens when you're in the midlife fun space. But let's gloss these lips up because that's the way that I attract. Keep them lips glossed. Have that skin glowing. Okay. So we've talked about a lot. We started with my new little tripod thing. Show that one more time because it is pinned in the card. Okay. It's magnetic and suctions. So this is how you turn the suction on. And now it's going back off. And then this comes out and this is magnetic. iPhones, I believe beginning, I can't remember which model, but you can look it up. You can put your model into Google or ChatGPT and ask, is it MagSafe? Does it have MagSafe on there, right? And worst case scenario, you can take it into wherever your cell phone provider is and ask them. Right? So that will, and your entire iPhone case, the back of it is not MagSafe. It's like a little ring that looks just like this, but it's inside of your phone instead of on the back of your phone. And you'll know because it will just lock into place. It just locks into place, right? And so if your phone is not an iPhone, which like, why wouldn't it be? You've got two of these because, you know, you got a phone now and you're probably going to upgrade in the next year or so. And then there are wipes to clean the back of the phone before you adhere this to it. And then there's the alley wrench that came in here. And the alley wrench is so that you can adjust this if it becomes loose or if you want to lock it into place, I guess. I don't know. But we will find out someday. So we're going to keep that in here so we don't lose it. But I'm excited to use this and have this suction underneath my cabinets because y'all know I like to make coffee contents. I like to make tea. I drink a lot of stuff all day long. I like to stay hydrated and I love my herbal teas and that, right? And so I can record making those a lot easier and provide different angles because that's what we have to do. This isn't even the cocoa melon generation, but people like to see a lot of moving parts in your content. So we are upping our content game, okay? Because there is still opportunity for you to make money and lots of it, okay? We have talked about so many things today. I can't even recap it all because we've talked about a lot of things. But this is actually pretty inexpensive. And I do recommend getting at least two of them to start. That's what I wish I had have done. I think I got mine for less than $5. I think it was less than $5 the day that I got it. Okay. It might be more than that now, but it's still worth it. Honestly, anything under $20, it is definitely worth it. And, you know, again, let's talk a little strategy. Because people are going to need to learn how to shop. Right? People are going to need to learn how to shop. And a lot of people don't know how to shop. Right? So you can buy what you need at the price today. If it is a higher price, keep watching it. And when it goes down to being like $5 or under $5 again, that's when you buy a bunch of them and you have them. Why do you need a bunch of them? I said, I want one in my living room. I want one in my bedroom. I want one in the bathroom. I want one or two in the kitchen. You can have one for in the car. You know, you can have multiples. Things break. Things lose, you know, their ability to be usable. And I don't like having to wait. Even though I am lucky and I'm in an area with same day, 1 day, 2 day from the jungle store, I still, everything there I'm noticing does tend to be priced higher than the clock app, just so you know. So I like to have extras on hand, right? I don't like to have to stop production to wait for something to arrive. So anyway, it is time for me to get something to eat. Time for me to order lunch. I will likely be live again later in the evening or sometime tonight. I got a lot of work and stuff to do, but it's been great. It's been fun talking to y'all. Some of you I have seen here for a while. I appreciate you. If you have not yet clicked up here, be sure to click up here and follow and hit that bell so you get notifications when I am live. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next live. Bye.